So, welcome everyone to day 2 of our Social Proof Challenge. This is R for releasing the ick. I've asked everyone in the room today to just think about where they are on that scale, 1 to 5. One is I have no ick. I can ask people for feedback, testimonials, no problem. 5 is I really, really feel it. And I've asked everyone to think about how it makes them feel. I'm going to share a little bit about the psychology around this. Not a psychologist, but I have been thinking about this for my 20-year career. What is it that stops us or makes us reluctant to ask for feedback, testimonials, etc.? And it's a really human response, actually, to feel a bit icky about doing that. And here are the reasons why. One of the key things is it feels a bit like a threat. We're opening ourselves up. We don't necessarily know what people are going to say. Not everyone has a positive experience. And so there is that vulnerability. Now, some of that could be ego, like I'm going to get a bruise to my ego. Some of that could be actually triggering and remind you of some childhood experiences or some other wounds where people have held up a mirror to you, maybe in your adult life, or as a child, you've been told certain things about yourself. And whilst this is just part of natural growing up, right? We get told what we need to improve on and so on. Sometimes the way in which that feedback is delivered feels like an actual personal threat. So rather than naming our behavior or the work that we've done, some people tell us that we are naughty or bad or we failed them or we've disappointed them or whatever it is. So when we hear those words, it can take us back to that place. Okay. So that feels quite heavy to start off this session, which is why I got us to do a little bit of breathing initially. But that might be something that you're taken back to, right? So it feels psychologically threatening. You're about to judge me or give me some feedback. There's also something that the brain does, which is to hold on to the negative, right? And not always hold on to the positive. Hence, we started yesterday with the words of praise. So those plaudits of things that we have been praised for. When we ask for feedback, there's always that possibility that we're going to get things that we have to learn. And that doesn't, again, feel positive. Perhaps even worse than that, it might just go terribly silent and people don't come back to you at all. Not even with a, oh, I'm busy, can you ask me in a few weeks? It just goes quiet. And so that can feel like, well, you name the words. Okay. That can feel, you'll feel the feels for that too. I think there's also, and I'll stop here because there are about 10 different reasons I could go into. The other thing that happens is that many of us are conditioned to not ask for more and to feel like now, actually, if I ask for this, this is a new transaction. So I've given the service and they've paid for the service or they've exchanged for the service. And now I'm asking for a new thing to happen. So now we feel like we have to give more to get that thing that we want, which is the feedback or the testimonial. So it does feel like we now are going to enter a new owing, I owe you now, you're going to give me words, I'm going to have to give you something back. Okay. The final thing I'm going to say, I said I was going to say that final thing. This is the final thing. I'm going to drop it in because of some of the conversation we had yesterday. And I have taken this from, it's not my own words. So I'm reading it out. Praise feels unsafe when self-worth is shaky. So sometimes what might be about to be gifted to you is a positive thing, but you feel like you haven't fully delivered, or do they really know all my flaws? They're going to come with this gushing praise and then I'm going to feel like I'm not worthy of it. So it could have that adverse effect of, even though you're going to open the door and you're going to get some praise, you don't feel like you deserve it. Isn't that interesting? Okay. Well, it is to me anyway. I'll find out what you all think. So I'm going to stop the recording in a moment. The task for today is to try and pin down, don't try, pin down what it feels like when you have the ick to ask. What is happening in you? And then the release is to really embrace that and breathe through it. And I know that there are other techniques out there. People can use EFT tapping, other things that you could work on. So I'm not going to give you the solution that suits you, because I know that people have things in their toolkit that they could go to. But what I am asking for is understanding what it is that's happening and then work to release that. And everyone's got their own individual ick factor. So I'll pause the recording there and we're going to dive into a discussion in the room.